November 25, 2020. Argentina stopped breathing. Millions flooded the streets. Grown men wept. Church bells rang. Not for a president. Not for a king. But for a footballer. They called him God. To some, he was the greatest player who ever lived. To others, he was a rebel who humbled the powerful and gave hope to the forgotten. He rose from one of the poorest slums in Buenos Aires to the very top of the world, making the impossible look effortless. With a football at his feet, he could do what no one else dared to imagine. He inspired a nation, conquered Europe, and produced moments so extraordinary they still feel like miracles decades later. But behind the cheers, another story was unfolding. A story of unimaginable pressure. Dangerous temptations. Betrayal. Addiction. And a battle no amount of talent could win. How does a boy with nothing become a man worshipped by millions? And how does someone the world called a god end up fighting the very demons that would destroy him? This isn't just the story of football's greatest genius. It's the story of a man who reached heaven and spent the rest of his life trying not to fall. This is the rise and the heartbreaking ruin of Diego Armando Maradona. Long before the world called him God, Diego Maradona was just another hungry child in Villa Fiorito, one of the poorest neighborhoods on the outskirts of Buenos Aires. Tin-roofed homes. Dirt roads. Open sewers. For many families, including the Maradonas, every meal was uncertain. Born on October 30, 1960, Diego Armando Maradona was the fifth of 8 children. His father, Don Diego Chitoro Maradona, worked long factory shifts, while his mother, Dona Tota, often skipped meals, pretending she wasn't hungry so her children could eat. To his family, he was simply Pelusa, the little boy with wild curls and an even wilder dream. He didn't have expensive boots. He didn't have money. But he had a football. And from the moment it touched his feet, something extraordinary happened. Neighbors stood in amazement as the tiny boy glided past older kids with impossible balance, dazzling everyone who watched. It was as if the ball had become part of him. By the age of 9, scouts from Argentinos juniors had discovered a once-in-a-generation talent. They called him El Pibe de Oro, the Golden Boy. At just 10 years old, Diego was already performing ball juggling exhibitions during halftime at professional matches, leaving thousands of spectators in disbelief. Back home, his family still lived in a tiny house, sharing food, hope, and dreams. Diego made a promise to his parents. "One day, I'll buy you a home. One day, we'll never be hungry again." Football wasn't just a game. It was his way out. At 15 years and 10 months, Diego made his debut for Argentinos juniors' first team, becoming one of Argentina's youngest professional players. By 16, he was already one of the league's brightest stars. But in 1978, heartbreak struck. Argentina hosted the World Cup, yet the teenage sensation was left out of the squad. Diego broke down in tears. The rejection hurt deeply, but it also ignited a fire inside him. A year later, he answered every doubter by captaining Argentina to victory at the 1979 FIFA World Youth Championship, announcing himself to the world. Looking back on his childhood, Diego once said, "Poverty is bad. You want so many things, and all you can do is dream." Soon, he fulfilled another dream by joining Boca Juniors, the club he had loved since childhood. As thousands chanted his name, the boy from Villa Fiorito felt unstoppable. But Argentina was only the beginning. Across the Atlantic, Europe was waiting. And Diego Maradona was about to change football forever. By 1982, Diego Maradona was no longer just Argentina's brightest young star, he was the most sought-after footballer on earth. After the World Cup in Spain, Barcelona shattered the transfer record to bring him to Europe. Expectations were enormous, but so were the challenges. Injuries, illness, and fierce tackles kept interrupting his brilliance, while clashes with club officials and opponents made headlines. Even so, whenever Diego touched the ball, the world caught glimpses of magic. Then, in 1984, came the move that changed everything. Maradona signed for Napoli, another world record transfer, but many thought it was a mistake. Naples was poor, overlooked, and looked down upon by Italy's wealthy north. Its football club had never won a league title, and few believed it ever would. But Diego saw something familiar. He saw his own story. To the people of Naples, he wasn't just a superstar. He was hope. Season by season, he transformed Napoli from underdogs into champions. Against football giants like AC Milan and Juventus, Maradona led the impossible. Napoli lifted its first ever Serie A title in 1987, then another in 1990. The city exploded with celebration. Streets turned blue, fireworks lit the sky, and murals of Diego appeared on walls across Naples. He hadn't just won trophies. He had given an entire city pride. But even those unforgettable triumphs would soon be overshadowed by a tournament that would define his legacy forever. The year was 1986. The stage was Mexico. And waiting for Diego was England. June 22, 1986. Mexico City. Azteca Stadium. More than 114,000 fans packed the stands. Argentina. England. Just 4 years after the Falklands War, this was more than a football match. For many Argentines, it felt personal. Then came the moment that would divide football forever. A high ball floated into England's penalty area. Maradona leapt alongside goalkeeper Peter Shilton, and with the slightest touch of his left fist, knocked the ball into the net. The referee pointed to the center circle. Goal. England protested. Argentina celebrated. Years later, Diego would smile and deliver one of football's most famous lines. A little with the head of Maradona, and a little with the hand of God. The controversy was unforgettable. But what happened just 4 minutes later would erase every doubt about his genius. Maradona collected the ball inside his own half and began to run. One defender. Then another. Then another. 5 English players were left chasing shadows as he danced through the heart of their defense with impossible balance and breathtaking control. He rounded the goalkeeper. Slotted the ball into the net. And the Azteca Stadium erupted. It wasn't just a goal. It was a masterpiece. A moment so extraordinary that it would forever be known as the goal of the century. Inspired by their captain, Argentina went on to lift the 1986 FIFA World Cup, with Maradona winning the tournament's golden ball as its best player. Back home, he fulfilled the promise he had made as a little boy in Villa Fiorito. He bought his parents the house they had always dreamed of, lifted his family out of poverty, and gave an entire nation a reason to celebrate again. To millions of Argentines, Diego Maradona was no longer just a footballer. He was a national hero. To the people of Naples, he was a saint. To the world, he had become immortal. But standing at the very top of the world, Diego had no idea that his greatest opponent wasn't waiting on a football pitch. It was waiting inside himself. At the height of his fame, Diego Maradona seemed untouchable. He was adored in Argentina, worshipped in Naples, recognized everywhere he went. But behind the cheers and the trophies, another battle had already begun. The pressure of carrying an entire city, and an entire nation, was relentless. Fame brought endless parties, sleepless nights, and dangerous temptations. Rumors of cocaine use, which had surfaced during his time in Barcelona, grew louder in Naples. He was also seen with figures linked to the Camorra, adding to the controversy surrounding his life off the pitch. The headlines kept coming. Scandals. Affairs. Children born outside his marriage. The private life of football's greatest star was becoming as famous as his brilliance on the field. Yet somehow, when the whistle blew, Diego still produced moments of magic. He led Argentina all the way to another World Cup final in 1990, but this time, they fell to West Germany. Even in defeat, millions still saw him as a hero. But the cracks were impossible to hide. His body was exhausted. His mind was under constant pressure. And the addiction that had quietly taken hold was now taking control. Then, in 1991, everything came crashing down. Maradona tested positive for cocaine and was suspended from football. The city that had once treated him like a saint watched him leave in heartbreak. His unforgettable love story with Napoli was over. The greatest player on earth was no longer fighting defenders. He was fighting himself. And that was a battle far harder to win. This is where the story breaks your heart. For years, Diego Maradona had defeated defenders, critics, and impossible odds. But there was one opponent he couldn't outrun. His own demons. What began as moments of escape became a relentless addiction. Years later, Diego admitted, "In the beginning, drugs make you euphoric, who cares about tomorrow?" By 1994, he was determined to prove the world wrong one last time. At the World Cup in the United States, he scored a stunning goal against Greece and celebrated with wild, unforgettable intensity, staring straight into the television cameras as if to tell the world, "I'm still here." But the comeback lasted only days. Maradona tested positive for ephedrine, a banned substance. He was expelled from the tournament. The image of a smiling Diego being led away from the pitch became one of the most heartbreaking moments in football history. It felt as though the world was watching a legend fall in real time. He retired from professional football in 1997, but peace never came. His struggles with addiction continued. His health declined. Obesity, heart problems, and repeated hospitalizations became regular headlines. His personal life remained turbulent, yet he never stopped fighting. He returned to football as a coach, remained outspoken in politics, and continued to champion those he believed had been forgotten by the powerful. Even during his darkest years, flashes of the old Diego remained. He played in charity matches. He helped children in need. He gave his time, and often his own money, to causes that rarely made the headlines. The superstar never forgot the hungry boy from Villa Fiorito. He entered rehabilitation more than once and searched for a fresh start, but years of physical and emotional strain had taken their toll. Then, on November 25, 2020, Diego Maradona suffered a heart attack and died at the age of 60. The news sent shockwaves around the world. Argentina declared 3 days of national mourning. Millions lined the streets to say goodbye. In Naples, fans covered the city with flowers, candles, and tears. The stadium that had witnessed his greatest triumphs was renamed Stadio Diego Armando Maradona, ensuring his name would forever be part of the city he transformed. The boy from Villa Fiorito was gone. But the legend would never die. Diego Maradona was never a perfect man. He could be brilliant, stubborn, controversial, and deeply self-destructive. But perhaps that's why the world never stopped loving him. He wasn't born into privilege. He didn't inherit greatness. He earned it, one touch of the ball at a time. To millions, he became far more than a footballer. He was proof that a child born in poverty could stand on top of the world and refuse to bow to anyone. His influence still echoes through football today. Every generation of gifted players is measured against him, and legends like Lionel Messi have carried the weight of comparisons to the man who first made Argentina believe anything was possible. Yet Maradona's story is also a warning. Talent can open every door. Fame can make you feel invincible. But neither can protect you from the battles within. In the end, Diego conquered defenders. He conquered Europe. He conquered the World Cup. But there was one opponent he could never truly defeat. Himself. And maybe that's why his story still moves us. Not because he was flawless, but because he was human. A boy from the slums who reached the heavens, only to discover that even gods can fall. Diego Maradona blazed across football like a comet, brilliant, unforgettable, impossible to ignore. His light burned so brightly that the world is still illuminated by it. He was the eternal number 10. A genius. A rebel. A flawed hero. And a legend whose story will be told for generations to come. If you enjoyed this story, subscribe and turn on notifications. Next we'll cover another ruler, who tasted both glory and total destruction. Comment below. Who should we do next?